Welcome to the Comin Up Charlotte podcast, produced by Deneka Thomas and amílcar Sanatan. This limited podcast series is all about real life in East Port, Spain. It is about the hustle, the people, the everyday work that keeps the city moving, the stories of the ones who make Charlotte Street, aka Chinatown, what it is. Today we're talking with Latifah, a spirited hairdresser in East Port, Spain, who we met eating two cakes at the same time, a cheesecake and a slice of carrot cake. This is her story.
Let's reform bananas and dance, reform
Can you tell us what inspired you to get into the hairstyling business?
Well, since I was in primary school, I always knew I wanted to do hair. I always knew I wanted to get into this field of hair, makeup, everything. But it actually took COVID for me to actually come into it. Because why I wasn't actually doing it, because I always thought I needed to have a lump sum of money to buy up everything and have a place to rent and all of that. But it actually took having COVID come in, losing my job in the ministry, having no money in my account. And then I was like, all right, let me call my girlfriend and come she here. And that was it. And she came, but it actually took someone telling me that I would amount to nothing. And I was like, oh, you feel so? And I came off that phone call, I called my girlfriend, I said, girl, come, let me come here. She came, I combed my hair, I took a picture and I posted it on Facebook and I say, I'm doing a style for $100, house calls. Well, it's called house calls included in the $100. And that was it. And from those house calls, I end up in some real strange places. Like looking back, I risked it for the biscuit.
Jesus.
I risked it for the biscuit.
Yeah, Latifah, but COVID-19, it seems to have had a lot of pressure on people's lives throughout Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. You could speak to some of the hardships you may have experienced and then why you made that bold decision to get into business.
Well, I did not too long have a baby, so he was only like a year old. And then, so my husband was home as well, because the field we were both in wasn't want to be working still. And we have 3 children, and we now have a car, and we now started renting for the first time. So it was like, way boy. So then when savings started to run out, it was like, what are we gonna do? So it just so happened that his job decided to start to get into providing groceries as well at the time, right? So that's how he started to continue to work. And then, well, like I said, someone told my sister that I would amount to nothing because I'm lazy, like someone else. And I was like, oh, you think so? All right. But I'm the type of person, I need someone to tell me I can't do something to prove them wrong. It's like right now I'm waiting for somebody to tell me I will never drive so I can start to drive.
Latifah, something interesting, your educational journey. It was one of resilience. If you feel comfortable sharing part of that story as well.
Sure. What exactly you want to know?
About some of the obstacles you face during school and I believe you had to drop out, right?
Yes, so in secondary school, I got pregnant with my first son when I was in Form 4. So the September to go into Form 5, even though I finished Form 4 while pregnant, the September to go in Form 5, I had him in November. Excuse me. So I asked my teachers, I just send the SPAs and thinking I would do them, and by next year I'll be back out of school. And they said, well, you'll have to do over Form 4. I said, no. And I just never went back to school. And I always knew I would have went back. I just didn't go back. I wasn't into going back into Form 4 with those little children. So I had him, and then I started to work Subway in the meantime because I have to take care of my child. And I could remember just the other day, because my nephew just graduated yesterday, day before, and I was like, way boy, when my friends were graduating, I was working. And my friends was like, Latifah, gosh, come after work. And I was like, I can't come after work. I don't go home to my baby. But after that, I did go back and I did classes in Southeast. So I ended up getting my 5 subjects, Maths, English, POB, Social, Office Administration. I went back and I do computer as well. So, and it wasn't easy to go back. I knew I was always good in school. So if I didn't have my son for sure, I'd have my full 8 subjects. But having to juggle work, juggle a baby, then juggle classes, it was always like way bound, never get to finish this. So sometimes I start this year and I had to drop out of classes. Why? Because nobody to watch the baby. And then I used to play pan, so it's like way, and it just was like, oh my gosh. Until I sit down a day and I was like, Latifah, if you don't do it, it just wouldn't happen. Nobody not going to give you a handout. So you have to do it. And you want a better future for this child? Yeah. I was like, yeah, boy. And then I said, all right, you know what? I stick into it now. And then I went back and I finished.
But that was very resilient of you to make that decision. And then you went into skills training because you became a hairstylist full time. You went into what some people might refer to as a trade. Why did you still feel the need to go back to school and then go into entrepreneurship?
Well, I only just got into entrepreneurship. After school, after having my son, I had to go to school because I realized working in fast food wasn't making enough money to provide for me and the future that I saw myself having. So that's why I went back to school, and I worked other strange places, just trying, because at the time, well, now probably even worse, at the time, 5 subjects still wasn't even enough. Right? So 5 subjects and computer, and I work in Subway. That wasn't making sense. But it just so happened, like being nice to people, they get different job opportunities. And it just happened that my neighbor, he have a good link in the government, so that's why I ended up getting through to work in the government.
Ministry of Public Administration.
Yes.
And then you make the decision. So now you start the business, you come into town. What does that mean for Latifah?
Well, I always wanted to be in town to start. It's not somewhere I want to stay for different reasons. One, a lot of people afraid town. That's one. A lot of people afraid town. So sometimes people will call, where you located? And time I say Charlotte Street. Oh, okay. Maybe another time. So, but being in town, you get exposed to a lot of people because you have to pass through town. Whether I go in north, south, east, west, you have to pass through town because a lot of people working in town, a lot of important places in town. And sometimes it can be on your way home or on your way to work from home. And you might have that 5 minutes and say, gosh, let me stop and tint my brows. Let me stop and do my hair. But if you're kind of out of the way, it's a little harder for people. So that's why I was glad to start off in town. But after my clientele start growing, well, it's not where I have a nice clientele, but it could be better. When it reached where I wanted to reach, then I could afford to move to somewhere where I would like, somewhere more like Woodbrook or Maraval, somewhere else give you a different idea of what you're getting into. You understand?
Yeah. And that is part of your vision for a kind of full service treatment. If you could speak more about that dream.
Well, I actually would like to have a spa, a one-stop shop. And it must be so nice and so welcoming that you must never have to tell me, Latifah, I can't make my appointment because I have no one to watch my son. Listen, bring him because it have a room with someone watching all the kids. So it have a safe room for kids to play in. It must be a place where you just feel so at free. It must feel like you're in a different country when you step in. It must be providing hair, nails, makeup, lashes, massages, facials, everything you want to think about, it must be provided there. It must be a safe place when you know you come. And this is what clients even do now. They'll be so stressed and they just waiting for their appointment. Sometimes they come here to talk and they have no appointment. Like, what you doing here, sis? Kiri, don't know what this man do. True. Tell me. You know, so when I do eventually accomplish that dream, it must be better than what it is now. You must be happy to talk. You must be like, nah, okay, you know what you need to do? Let me go by Latifah. Let me go there. That's how it must be.
I'm interested in that idea of the talk. When I've come in here, the conversations range from the end of the world to relationship issues to men sending pictures of 6-pack on your birthday.
Correct.
Is It's a lot of
everything.
topics.
It's
But
everything.
this is a space like for self-care, like people.
Yeah.
But self-care meaning it's communal. You all share that practice together.
Mm-hmm.
People talk to strangers about their challenges and dreams and hopes.
Yeah.
Speak more about that.
Some things that they don't share with other people, they will share with me. Like who tried to commit suicide. They wouldn't tell anybody that, but they told me. They would call me like, Latifah, listen, I can't do this no more. But they're afraid to tell their parents. They're afraid to tell their partners, but they can talk to their hairdresser. Who believe the kids might be gay and don't know what to do. They will tell me. Who feel like leaving their husband or leaving their wives, because I have male clients as well. People who gay and afraid to come out. They will tell me. People who lost a job, who all kind of stuff, who have infertility issues, who have cancer. I have so many clients right now with cancer and fertility issues. It's not even funny.
On Charlotte Street, hairdressing is more than a service. It is a safe space. For many people, the chair becomes the one place they can sit, breathe, and be honest. Stylists like Latifah don't just work the hair, they hold stories, frustrations, grief, and hope, often without being asked and without being paid for that kind of care. And the thing is, they carry all of that while dealing with their own challenges too. Bills, pressure, uncertainty. None of it disappears just because the shop door opens. But they still show up. They listen. They create moments of ease in a city that does not always make room for rest. In East Port of Spain, spaces that people like Latifah create matters deeply. They are where community happens quietly, where trust is built strand by strand, conversation by conversation. These businesses don't just keep people looking good, they help people feel seen. This is Comin Up Charlotte, and now back to the episode.
I was interested in that idea about health. The last time I came, we were talking about lupus and cancer. In your studio, you were talking that out with your clients.
My same friend who was now here, she has lupus.
How is that, like, in terms of you with that emotional labor, sometimes receiving all those stories where people talking about the real issues that they are living with and might be dying from?
And I just said, because I absorb everything. So if you're here and you're sad, I'll be sad. If you're happy, I'll be happy. You tell me you get that job you always wanted, you swear I get a job. You tell me you're pregnant, I know you always wanted that child. You swear I breed you. You swear that's my baby you making. I so happy. Like my friend, she told me the other day, well, her son is going to be a year. When she told me she was pregnant, I remember we was in Subway. I was crying. I was like, girl, you're pregnant, you're making a baby. Like everybody know. Don't come to me with good news. You have to warn me, Latifah. Don't cry, yeah? Don't cry, we in tongue. Latifah, we need more. Latifah, do not. I get so involved. And it's the same thing when it's sad news, right? And like, I have another client, she recently thought she was going through menopause. And I was like, like, I haven't seen somebody so in a few months. And then when she called, she's like, Latifah, I was like, yeah, I missed you. Like, what's going on? She's like, yeah, I tell you, I was going through menopause. I found out that I actually have stage 3 breast cancer. That's crazy. That's crazy. Another client, she thought that after she did this surgery, her fertility issues would have been better. Now she may never have children. She and her husband was here asking me if I would make a baby for them. And I honestly would have, but I can't give up a baby. But I wish I could have. Another client messaged me just today, Latifah, I can show you the message, Latifah, I am depressed. I have no one to talk to. I am pregnant and this man don't appreciate me, but I can't afford to have this baby and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, wow. So now I trying to work out. If you want the baby, I pro-life. So I'll never tell you I have an abortion. Get her the baby, give it to my couple who want a baby. Maybe something could work out. But going home after hearing all these statements, I had to take a moment like, way boy. Sometimes my kids like, Mommy, what happened? And it's because Tom, Dick, I could cry right now because it's Tom, Dick, and Harry going through so much. And nobody knows. And they're afraid to tell people who they're living with. But they share it with me because I feel everything. And I appreciate my clients so much. So much. I don't even know how to explain it. People say, be professional. Don't get too close with your clients. I can't do it. Because they share their deepest innermost thoughts, the most emotional things they're going through, and I can't help but I don't even know how to. One of my clients, her house recently burned down. She lost everything. But same client today who's depressed brought stuff for her. Who depressed and could kill herself brought stuff for that client. She don't, and they don't even know each other. How I cannot go home and think about these things. And then when I watch that, have people who so ungrateful. The little blessings, like that same person who was here. Sometimes because of her lupus, she have a wheelchair at home. Some days she wake up, she can't walk. And we might take for granted being able to walk. We will carry, we don't have a car. She wish she could walk every day. My next client could never have any children. My next client is presently dying. And we take the simplest things for granted. So going home and not having so much to just let go, it is be hard because I myself suffer with depression. So sometimes my depression, not even off of me, it's off of my clients, but I will never tell them that because I am their safe space.
Latifah, the emotion that you're expressing right now is part of that authenticity I saw and felt being in your space from the first time since last year, November, when we first connected. But I'm also hearing that you are carrying these burdens, in a way. How do you get joy in your life? How do you kind of care for yourself when you are that solace for others?
So I give really good advice. I don't know, I think that that's my gift from God. That I can make anyone open up to me. Everybody open up to me always say, if I don't talk to anybody. That same girl always says that she don't speak. But she can't speak now. She don't speak to people. But she speaks to me. And the thing is, I can't take my own advice. I don't speak to anyone. When I have my deepest days where I could really crash out, I hug my kids and I kiss them. I tell them, have a great day at school. Be good boys. I love you so much. And as soon as everyone leaves that door, I go in my bathroom and cry. That's the only way I know to let it out. My childhood was so hard. But I am so happy for where I am now. And listen, you see, God, the Bible says that Jehovah will provide you with the peace that surpasses all understanding. And that is truly what he provides me with, the peace that surpasses all understanding. After I bawl my eyes out with that shower running on my head, and I talk to God, I get dressed and I come to work like normal. Nobody knows if I now leave the house, crying on the brink of going mad. And I come here, and I'm ready to go again. Only with God. And you see my kids, listen. I always wanted daughters, and I have 3 boys. But the love my children show me, I can't even afford to die. Because they would not be able to handle it. Especially my last son. I can't even tell you how much times a day he has to tell me, Mommy, I love you so much. Mommy, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. So, but he thinks you'll be like, Mommy, if I was sick, or if you were sick, I'd give you my heart so you could live. Mommy, I would give you my last breath. And this is our 6-year-old. And this is what he would say every single day. And it's not just him, it's all of them. All 3 of us sit down here. I can't sit down at the end here because it's fight to sit down next to me. I have to sit down in the middle.
Yeah, that love for your family.
That love, listen. My boys show me so much love. I don't need anything else. I don't need anything else. And that is what does keep me going. Sometimes my boys could tell, Mommy ain't doing so good. They could tell when I wake up and I walk outside. I'm a big son. He's 15. He'll watch me. Mommy, you need a hug? And I'll be like, nah, I don't need no hug. But he don't want to hear that. He will come and hug me. And once the other 2 see him hugging me, they will come. Or if anyone notices that I am being hugged because I'm not having a good day, they all come and it's just a moment of silence. What more I want? God have blessed me with these 3 boys who love me beyond comprehension. So that is how I deal with everything. When I think about how much my God love me and how much my kids love me. And I know I have clients who love me.
So you see love as being important to this life of the entrepreneur.
Listen, definitely. Definitely.
And I want to think about that love and care, and this would be my final question. It had once, we had the chance to interview Dimples, and I met Dimples when you asked her for her help to tuck somebody wig inside the shop. So what I do see is that you all lean on each other a lot for help. You recommend and refer your clients sometimes to other people or walk-ins, to other business people. That's kind of opposite of competition. What is that about? That solidarity and support that you have for the other entrepreneurs here, most of whom are women?
You see, well, how I see it is, I can't do everyone's hair. I cannot service everyone. Neither can you. And it's better that we look out for one another, right? And we try to fight each other down. Because, same Dimples, if I don't know how to do something, I could call Dimples, girl, how to do X, Y, and Z. And she will come, girl, watch me, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and so by so. And she knows if she needs to know anything with locks or with lashes, she knows to come. Anybody buying tool borrowed, they could come. And some people just be like, why are you letting out your stuff? And I'll be like, why not? What about if I have a day where my flat iron stop working? What am I supposed to do? Run by pennies and buy a flat iron when my clients here working? No, I could just come borrow somebody own. And when you have that kind of love and you see how the world is, people just dropping down. If I drop down in that hallway, I'm almost certain everybody will come and help me. Now, if I was to be a different type of way, if I fall along in that hallway, you know what they're going to do? Walk over me and continue to go about the business. That's not making sense. And I don't gatekeep either. So some clients will be like, what is your use to get that to be so? Girl, I use this and I get it so by so place. It only costs $2 and $2. But if it goes so by so, you can get a discount.
Yeah.
It don't make sense gatekeeping for what? For what? You will not reach anywhere. And when you give, you get in return. And that's with literally with everything. You give money, you give food, you just be nice. And good does always follow you. Good always follow you. Sometimes I hear and people bring things for me to eat. Understand? You know, I like my belly. Like, look, he bring my chocolate while I eating 2 cakes. Like, come on.
You are loved.
I am loved. I know that. I know that. And yeah, so love, it really is important. And keep it car beyond that. And I can't try to fight down the next person. That's not making sense.
Thank you very much, Latifah, for your contributions and helping us understand the life of an entrepreneur a lot more on these ends, Comin Up Charlotte Street.
Thanks for joining us on Coming Up Charlotte. This podcast is part of a wider series that includes poetry, visual art, and a final community event, all shaped by the stories we've gathered here in East Port of Spain. To learn more, follow along, share an episode, or start a conversation of your own. Thanks again for listening.